Hi guys and welcome back to Kerbal Space Program. I'm New and let's get right to it. This is episode 19 and I can finally play it pretty stable in this new build. Not all the kinks out, but it works pretty fine. So first up, we've got a very big mission here. I just decided to build something big to show you, even though it will take another few hundred days until I can launch it to its destination. Exactly 265 days, and if you check the Kerbal alarm clock, I believe all of you can guess where this thing will be going. Yes, this one is a nice little spacecraft that is destined for Jool and destined to observe all the moons and all the stuff there, because I've got a contract to basically do an altimeter and biome scan of, I believe, nearly every moon in the Julian system. So I built this thing out here with latest technology, and I'm gonna try to get this into space with my new launcher technology here. These are 4, or let's say 8 orange tanks outside, each connected with fuel lines into the middle, so the middle one will be able to push myself into an orbit. There we go. The outer tanks are then dropped, and I still have full middle tank to get myself into orbit. But now let's get this probe operational, extend the 4 solar panels. I put 4 big ones on there, even though it's a little probe that's not gonna use much energy, but out on Jool, out at the distance of Jool, these solar panels will get less and less energy from the sun because we're farther and farther away from it. So I need basically a little bit more. Now go to apps, and there we can burn to get ourselves into a nice and stable orbit where this probe will spend the next few hundred days. The good thing with this probe and the difference to the real world is I can keep this probe in orbit for 260 days without having to worry that anything breaks or decays. That's why I can put it in, but you will, I believe, almost never, or really never, see a space agency launch a probe that is destined for somewhere way ahead of the transfer window. They will most likely try to launch it and get it into the transfer once it arrives, or as close to it as possible, because on Jool because in the real world you have to deal with broken electrics and also, I believe, what's it called, fuel evaporation. So basically your fuel gets less efficient or evaporates out of the fuel tanks. We had this problem. There are a few fuel types that don't do this, but many do. Now, the second mission after a few hundred days of time warp. Basically, we're able to time warp really fast. Oh yeah, there, stupid warble had this activated. I was able to time warp for 150 days around, and then saw that another nice transfer window was coming up, Kerbin to Eve. Now we've got this within 5 days, so we are sending basically a replica of the same thing that is currently on its way to Duna, the Duna Explorer. We basically rebuilt this one and made it the Eve Explorer, and I'm sending this away. As you can see, I still got the bug with the launch clamps. I hope I can fix this in the future, because at the moment I can add them to any design. They don't do anything. They're not even stabilizing it on a launch pad. This rocket, in fact, fell over on the launch pad quite often, so I hope I can fix this in the future. But for now, we are trying to get this thing into orbit, and I still got the parachutes up there. They are not gonna do me anything good because I wasn't able to port the mod that lets me reuse these things and lets me get them down at the moment, so I don't have this, so I'm not as good as the Falcon with reusable parts, the Falcon in real life. So let's get this thing into orbit. I've got this little puddle engine that's gonna get me into orbit and then push me, I think, nearly all the way to Duna, if I made my calculations right. But we'll see if I did them right. While burning, I mucked around with the science a little bit because I thought I could do some science, but as it turns out, around Kerbin, basically everything scientific has been done already. So for now, we're just gonna burn and get myself into a nice little orbit, and this one then can go nearly directly towards Eve. So for now, yeah, now that that's done, no, not done, damn it, I need to burn a lot more. Why are these burns always taking so long? There we go, periaps is rising, and above 80, that's good. Now let's just zoom out and get a maneuver node going here. This will be a retrograde maneuver, so I'm burning prograde from Kerbin, but I'm burning on the opposite side of where I burned when I went to Duna. This way, when I reach the sun, as you can see, my orbit will go down. And now I need to muck around with the precise node to get a nice encounter. As you can see by the green points on the screen, the intersection points, the intersect is pretty much where I want it to be. I just need to get it closer. I'm doing this by just changing when I burn and trying to change as little of the prograde as possible to keep it within the right amount of delta V. I don't want to burn too much, but I do have to burn radial. No, not radial, sorry. I mucked around here and did it wrong quite a few times until I got it right. So you can see me messing up my node here, doing stuff that basically gets me nothing. And now finally realizing what I can do. I need to burn more nominal, then I can burn less prograde and keep it under 2000 meters of delta V and get a nice encounter, hopefully. Come on, let's do this a little bit more. And we're still too far out, so let's mess around with it a little bit more, like this. That's too much of a separation. With the nominal, I think I can get it down. So we're just gonna do a second maneuver here. That's gonna get me into the right orbit at a later time, I believe. But no, it must be possible to get this thing done in one maneuver. I've did Eve flybys in one maneuver, so let's just... No, it has... What do you guys think? It has to be possible to do this with one maneuver. Shouldn't need two to do this. Crappy stuff. Yeah, with two, it's working like that, but... Well, then let's just keep it like that. Let's make two maneuvers to get the encounter. At least the second maneuver is only a few hundred meters, so this works pretty well. I've got more than enough delta V in my next stage. I've got half of my puddle still left, so I should have more than enough delta V left. The first burn will be 1400 meters only, so that should be basically everything I've got left in my puddle. So we're just gonna orient ourselves towards the maneuver node, then time accelerate, and realize we've got SS activated, so I'm not accelerating with it because of the constant rotation mod, which keeps SS or rotation on while warping. I just love this mod. You can not do so much with it, but it adds a nice feeling of realism to time warping. Because time warp is basically very, very unrealistic, as I believe anyone can see. But the good thing is, when the ship keeps rotating even time warp and isn't just stuck, it just gives you this feeling of, yeah, there's something going on there, even in time warp. And as you can see, this thing is outfitted with a nuclear engine, which gets me very good amount of Delta V. Thanks to a mod of mine, I was able to put a different spin on the fuel tank. I was able to put the fuel tank, all the oxidizer out of the fuel tank and fill it to the brim with liquid fuel. So basically this is just a liquid fuel tank, because the rocket motor in the newest version, or since a few versions past, only needs liquid fuel to work and not oxidizer anymore as it did in the past, because now it's just heating the fuel through the I guess atomic material reactor, heating it up like that and then expelling it, so I don't need the oxidizer to burn it. I hope that's the right way it works, and I hope it works well, at least for me. So I did this and it's working. This is nice. And now we can do our third mission, which is a mission on Kerbin. We need to fly a plane again, and this was really, really hard. That's why the video is coming out today, because my plane always broke down. Something with my mods wasn't right, so I did a complete reinstalled all the mods, and then this plane was working. Finally my atmospheric density and my atmospheric measures were working nicely. And since this flight is a very, very long time, I'm just gonna show you everything in 4 times normal speed, except a few parts where I messed up. And you will see why. Here, for some reason, I had SAS activated and this thing just kept trying to go upside down, or had a spin to the left, as you can see there. It always spun left and left and left, so I mucked around with all the control surfaces, nothing was working. I had to basically always re-steady it, so I tried maybe quick save and reload, and hopefully it will get better. So let's reload. And then, for some reason, still a little bit wobbly, but the left turn was gone. So I've still got a little bit of a problem here with this installation. For some reason, my ship had a tendency to just flip over. After reloading, as you can see, it worked fine. Perfectly stable now. I decided to get myself the flight data out to basically to look at it and see what was going on. As you can see, while we wobble, the lift in the top is always going crazy up, crazy down while we wobble. So this is still not a very stable plane. I believe one thing is that I have the same control surface for your roll and pitch, which you normally shouldn't do. Sorry for my bad English today. Normally you should have 2 control surfaces, one that controls pitch, one that controls roll, and you should have the horizontal tail fin that I have at the back, or other stuff, dual fins or something like that, to control the yaw. And so only one control surface at a time is used for something like that. Because I have pitch and roll at the same control surface, when I initiate roll, the pitch gets messed up. When I initiate pitch, a roll gets messed up. I basically know that this is really, really bad for my plane at the moment, and I wouldn't really be able to land this thing because it's wobbling at low speeds. and it's basically not the right technology. For some reason my wheels, although I tried to get them perfectly, they sometimes lose control. As you saw while starting, I nearly fell over there, so this plane isn't really designed to land and get back. That's why I have 4 parachutes on this plane to get myself to the ground where I need to be, because these points of interest over there are on the surface. They tell me to get, I believe, atmospheric density readings at the surface at these 4 points. They shouldn't be too far away from each other, so I'm just gonna parachute in there with my whole plane, get my whole plane down to the ground, and then drive it around between these points. But first off, I need to get over this little ocean here. Just a little bit over 100 kilometers left. What's it? Yes, there we go. We passed the 100 kilometer mark. I know it's a long flight, but you only need to watch a few minutes of it. I had to do this in normal speed because time acceleration wasn't an option while my plane was wobbling like that. So I think this took me about 15 to 20 minutes just flying over there and always adjusting this wobble here, which was really getting on my nerves at the end of it. So next time I build a plane, I'm really trying to design it properly and trying to get it to a point where it flies perfectly stable with the SAS on, without wobbling this much and without giving me a very hard time. So now I need to slow down for my parachutes to work, and for this I'm just gonna turn a few times here, and then for a nice little thing, I'm gonna return to normal speed and talk you through what happened here. So I tried to turn a little bit here and then activated my parachutes. This worked nice here. You can see me in normal time now, going up a little bit, and surface speed is going down. Works perfectly fine, just as I imagined it. And then for some reason my nose dropped. My speed started to rise again. As you can see, my surface speed is rising, which is very bad. But this I will mention because maybe I thought maybe this was the problem. It wasn't. For some reason I was just picking up speed here and turning. But at 700 meters my chutes deployed fully, my speed got down, this worked, but as you can see my nose is pointing way too far, so I need to cut a few chutes. I need to cut the right chutes. And what do? I'm crazy and stupid. I cut the forward chute, which was stupid, and then I cut the second chute but on the wrong side, which flipped me to the side. It leveled me out with the front and the back, but it flipped me to the freaking side. Now I thought I was done by then, but for some reason the engineers at the Kerbin Space Center decided to give myself very strong wings here. So look what happens when we land. For some reason the wings stay on, I flip over and I'm down on the ground. I have absolutely no idea how the wings survived this. Those are normal structural wings, but it worked. And now with 4 times normal speed again, we're gonna just cruise to get these 4 points. This is pretty basic. I was just cruising between 7 and 15 meters per second surface speed. This works nice. The plane can't flip over, the plane can't take off, and I only need to get within 500 meters of each of these stops to make these scans. Each scan gets me a little bit of money because that's what I really need at the moment. My Jool lander was over 150,000 credits or 200,000 credits, so I'm not really broke, but I can't really afford large missions at the moment. So I'm gonna try to do a few small contracts at the moment to get some money, and hopefully the Duna scanner will arrive at Duna. This should get me a fair amount of money pretty soon once it arrives. the Eve probe will get to Eve, and after that the Duna probe will be able to start its mission to Duna, and this should all get my budget and my money well balanced in the future. And I also wanted to talk to you a little bit while I drive here about my new schedule. I'm trying to upload again 2 episodes per week. I'm still sticking to Kerbal Space Program as always because I love it, but I don't know if I can make an episode every week because Kerbal Space Program is the biggest amount of work. I record like 50 minutes or 1.5 hours, and then I get a 20-minute episode out of it after very, very much work. And I want to try to live stream a little bit in between, so I want to make 1 or 2 videos a week at least, hopefully 2, and at least 1 live stream a week. I'm gonna be live streaming on YouTube, so you don't have to go anywhere else, just subscribe to me and I will live stream here. And now we can just go home, recover this, and I hope I'll see you guys in the next episode. Thanks for watching this episode of Kerbal Space Program. If you liked it, be sure to leave a comment or click that like button. And if you never want to miss an episode again, be sure to subscribe. I hope I'll see you guys next time.